Hello and welcome to my 200th video. That is insane! This is my 200th video, so I thought I'd do something special for you. But before we get to the special part, which is me reading you a monologue I wrote for a supervillain for my playwriting class, which I will explain in a second, two things. Thing one. Come on, focus. You can't really tell anymore, but it says police box, and it is a teapot. So I made a TARDIS teapot. No, there we go. Thing two. I'm really obsessed with the band Oasis now. The only Oasis song that I've ever actually heard is Wonderwall, and everybody knows Wonderwall, but I actually really like Oasis. My favorite songs currently are Get Off Your High Horse Lady, She Is Electric. There's another song that I like. Hang on. Married with Children? I use that song for my DC video. Oasis is kind of awesome. Also MGMT. I got into them recently too. So, for the special part, as a lot of you know, I am in a playwriting class right now. I'm also in a fiction writing class, and so because I have to be constantly creating new content for both of those classes, I decided to sort of stick to the same universe and just write from, you know, different characters' perspectives and, you know, kind of play with the plot a little bit for each one. The universe that I chose, I explain it in a These Folk video, which is my Collab channel, and if you're not subscribed to them, you should be because we're awesome. So click my face if you want to go see in-depth description of the universe that I'm sort of writing in at the moment. But long story short, it's a universe where superheroes exist, and yeah. The playwriting universe, I focus on a supervillain called the Doominatrix. The assignment for this monologue, one that I'll be reading you in a second, was that we just had to write a monologue to a piece of music. Now I'm not going to play you that bit of music because if you haven't noticed yet, there are ads at the bottom of some of my videos nowadays, and I don't want to get YouTube mad at me about copyright claims. The music that I used is this. Fancy. We had to do a monologue that was somehow related to a sporting or athletic activity. It had to be set to music, it had to be like 2 to 3 minutes, and it's 11 o'clock. It's 11 o'clock. And I think that was it. So how this is gonna work, because I'm kind of a stage direction whore, I'm gonna read you like the first, you know, setup stage direction so you know what's going on. And then from then on, as I read the monologue, I'll just have the stage directions like on screen. Mackenzie Greenbaum is the character name, and she becomes the Doominatrix throughout this monologue. And dim the lights. Spotlight up on Mackenzie in the center of the stage, a tall, curvy woman wearing fishnet tights, lacy red underwear over them, a black corset, and knee-high black high-heeled boots. Various whips and sharp yet erotic-looking objects hang from the walls in a meticulously organized fashion. For example, all the whips are in one area, arranged by size, etc. On either side of Mackenzie and her spotlight are two people a little bit further back on stage. One is large and muscular, like a bodybuilder, and the other is tall and slight, like a cross-country runner. You can only see their outlines faintly. So here's the thing about superheroes, the thing that no one really wants to admit. At the end of the day, for all their powers and heroics, they're just big dumb babies. But I'm here to tell you the real story. The story that all those super living plebeians out there in the real world don't want you to know about. But I have faith in you all. Faith that you can comprehend the truth in what I'm about to disclose. I am correct to place my faith in you, right? Good. Then let's continue. The biggest problem with superheroes, besides the obvious ones like obnoxiousness and lack of dignity, is that without a crisis, their egos are free to run wild. And that's where supervillains come in. See, what people don't realize is that supervillains didn't create a need for superheroes. Superheroes created a need for supervillains. Without them, superheroes would be free to terrorize entire civilizations with their smugness and superiority. Take this one, for example. Reese Woodcomb, better known to the public as Muscle Man. Ha! Without supervillains, this lunk of meat would become a menace to society, particularly society's mothers and daughters. Super strength is not becoming when it isn't being used to stop dastardly plots that endanger the society. It may very well menace if given free rein. Then we have the Bullet here, known to his close friends as Mike Anderson. Yes, he may be able to run close to the speed of light, but without the necessity of saving innocent, mere mortal lives. Just think of what he might become.
I asked them how much it would cost. They gave me a price.
Now, I can't exactly speak for all others in my chosen profession, but this is why I, Mackenzie Greenbaum, became a supervillain. How could I sit idly by while these hideous freaks of evolution waltzed around my city, believing they're better than me? How can I just watch as these caricatures of real heroes frolicked on the masses, wreaking their subtle but dangerous psychological havoc on us all? I couldn't. It was my duty as a citizen, as a city dweller, as a human being to keep these monsters in check. Who else would step up? Who else could? My former psychologist said the reason might also be my deep-seated lust for sadism. What a crock. He was only holding me back, but I've long since killed him, so don't worry. I'll not be held back from my potential any longer, Dr. Haversham. No longer shall these animals intimidate the human race with their extraordinary abilities. No longer shall these aberrations jaunt around us like they're somehow more worthy of pomp and circumstance. I will not let these creatures put us down any longer. Their egos must be stifled before the soiled masses begin to worship them like the gods that they believe they are. So here's my proposal. We take back our cities, our humanity, by making these so-called heroes work for their worship. Make them deserve it, if that's even possible. Friends, you don't need to take up arms like I have to fight the plague that is these superheroes. You can cure humanity's sickness by simply recognizing that they are not as godly as they'd like you to believe. What's my part in this, you ask? Well, I'm just another supervillain, darlings. They call me the Doominatrix. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. That's probably the most fun I have ever had writing. It's so much fun to write for crazy people. Before I lose my voice and make this too mushy, thank you so much, and I will see you next week with our Thanksgiving version of Cooking with Gandalf, which I think you're going to enjoy.